Hey you guys, my name is Kayla and I'm a full-time traveling graphic designer. And today we're going to be going over how I personally plot and outline my planner pages before I begin the process of designing. So last week we talked about the brainstorming and research process, which is my first step in my design workflow. And there I explained that while there are times where spontaneous design is needed, for the majority of my projects, I always start with the plan, which in this case is in the form of wireframes. So, a wireframe is an illustration of a page's interface, and it mainly focuses on spacing, hierarchy of content, and intended behaviors. And I don't typically include specific details such as styling, color, or graphics because I want my wireframes to mainly focus on the functionality of the planner. So, our wireframes are going to be bare bones sketches of our planner pages to get the main framework down, which makes it incredibly easy when we start to sit down and actually design. And for me, I typically draw my wireframes with pen and paper, which I also recommend you do as well, because when you're sketching your outlines, it feels a lot less final. If I go straight into designing or try to digitally mock up my wireframes, I tend to design as if I'm designing a final draft rather than a first draft, meaning I'm more focused on how it looks rather than how it functions, which, in my opinion, is the most important part of a planner. Alrighty, you guys, let's go ahead and get started and I'll show you my wireframes. Alrighty, so for my outline, I use my dot grid notebook, which I sell on Amazon if you're interested in checking out, to sketch out my wireframes. Now, before I used dot grids, I would use pretty much anything I had on hand, whether it was lined notebook pages, blank computer paper, or scrap pieces of paper. Whatever you can get your hands on will work for this step. So, to give you an example of what I mean by bare bones, here is one of the past sketches for my planner launch kit. For my process, I typically draw the outline of each page, and then I'll write the names of the pages based on the list of pages I drafted during the research process underneath so I can know what the main focus is for that page. And then I'll begin the process of designing the sketch. So sometimes I'll add in written copy for the prompts if I think of something as I'm sketching, but for the most part, as you can see, it's pretty basic. I do just enough to get the idea for the page, but I don't spend hours thinking about colors or fonts or graphics or the overall style of the page. And the more you outline, the more you'll start to develop your own language that you can understand as you're turning your outlines into final designs. So for me, I know that these little squiggly lines means I want to add written copy underneath the title as a prompt for the page. And these relatively straight lines means I want to add in lines for the user to write in. And this multiply 3 down here means that I want to duplicate this page 3 times. I also usually leave little notes for myself in parentheses so I know what my thought process was as I was outlining. So I know here I want to include a list of values in this box. So these are a few rules I've made for myself as I outline, but they may look a little bit different for you. So yeah, I basically continue to outline each page that I plan to add into my design. And once my sketches are complete, I'll move on to actually designing them into my design software. And that's it, you guys. This is a quick peek into the second phase of my design workflow for my planner projects. It's pretty straightforward, but it's honestly one of the most impactful steps to keep my process streamlined so I can pump out designs quicker. So I highly encourage you to give it a try and outline the pages you listed during your research phase and see if you notice a difference in the quality of your final designs or if you feel like you were able to better capture your visions for your planner in your final designs. And also, if you'd like to learn more about how to actually sell your planners online, feel free to check out our free ebook down below where we'll go over how to take the planners you've designed and turn them into passive income. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you stay a while. Until next time.